Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Today's September 14th, 2019, and I want to share something with you that I am seeing. And in a way, it's very concerning to me that everything we are watching in September looks so amazing, so positive, so possible that I don't want to discount it. I don't want to overlook it. My job is to try to understand, to watch for the signs of his coming. September is amazing. The Feast of Trumpets has always been amazing. People have been preaching for a long, long time that the rapture of the church would most likely happen on the Feast of Trumpets. So there are great possibilities within September. Another thing that lines up with September is the book of Haggai, where it says in Haggai chapter 2, "Again the word of the Lord came unto Haggai in the 4th and 20th day of the month. Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth." It says earlier in the chapter that it was the 9th month. The 24th day of the 9th month. Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. And I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms. I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. And I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. So as we're looking at September 23rd to be the beginning of the final week and a worldwide false flag or manipulated destruction event, September 23rd in the United States is September 24th in Israel. 8-hour difference. So this would definitely fit also for fulfillment of the book of Haggai, the day that the nations are shaken, which would not necessarily be the rapture of the church, but maybe a final wake-up call with a 1-week warning, as in the days of Noah. So September is amazing. Now, the other thing that we have connected to September is the Feast of Trumpets. And if we go back, then the week begins on the fall equinox. The equinoxes are always important. The changing of the season, Jesus said, let your flight not be in winter. We are to pray that our flight would not be in winter. So that would be a reason why we could say, Lord, please let this be the time. Because if we go past this time, then we're entering into the season of winter. And Jesus said, pray that your flight be not in winter. So, but there is one more way that this passage from Haggai, the 24th day of the 9th month, can be fulfilled, and it's fulfilled pretty much in exactly the same way, starting at the winter solstice. The winter solstice lines up this year with the beginning of Hanukkah. I know that Renee Moses from the Rapture Puzzle has been pointing to New Year's for almost 2 years now, and I think that we've been seeing step by step things that we've needed to see. As far as I am concerned, my job has been to watch, step by step or month by month, and try to keep track of what is happening, of the things that are going on, not just to go out into the distance and find the day of the rapture that might be 2 years away, But on the other hand, Renee Moses at the rapture puzzle may be the one who's most precisely predicting when the rapture will happen. And so we don't want to overlook the great possibility. Renee has been a real warrior as far as trying to understand all the timing of the events, and she's also understood the events connected to Barack Obama, which in my opinion is key. Anyone who wants to understand really where we are needs to understand who the abomination is, who the Antichrist is. So this is definitely within my understanding of that. So, okay, let me try to explain now how this final week that we're watching, that could possibly be in September, could also be fulfilled in December. Okay, if we look at Hanukkah, we're going to see at the beginning of Hanukkah, just as the week in September begins at the fall equinox and ends on the Feast of Trumpets, Hanukkah begins at the winter solstice and ends at New Year's. And the first candle of Hanukkah is lit on the 24th day of the 9th Hebrew month. The 24th day of the 9th Hebrew month. And so, what we're looking at is there are really within this year of where we are right now, there are still two possibilities for the prophecy of Haggai to be fulfilled. It could be fulfilled on the 24th day of the 9th month in the Gregorian calendar on September 23rd and September 24th, or it could be fulfilled on the 24th day of the 9th Hebrew month of Kislev, which lines up with the winter solstice. And the 23rd day of Kislev is actually the winter solstice. So, with all the movies portraying 923, 923, 923, 923, we do have the possibility of it being September 23rd, but we also have the possibility of it being the winter solstice, which really, throughout history, lines up with everything connected to the Antichrist, and it also lines up with the original abomination of desolation from the time of the Maccabees, when Hanukkah was founded, the Feast of Dedication, when the temple was rededicated on the 25th of December, after an abomination event that took place also on the 25th of December, 3 years previous to that. So, we need to understand, okay, the 23rd and the 24th, we could see this in September. Now, if we don't see this in September, then this is where I will be focusing next on. Okay? And this whole thing with the 70 nations and the sacrifice, that may be all just a decoy and a deception to get us off track. We don't know. We don't know. I don't think it's wise to overlook it. I think we need to understand it. I think we need to see that what they're doing is definitely ushering in the Antichrist. They're trying to bring in their Messiah, the Antichrist. But is this the time, or do we have a short time yet that remains? And so we're looking at this final week. when will the final week take place? Will it be in September? If I do say so myself, this scenario looks pretty amazing. From the fall equinox, a worldwide false flag, a midweek abomination event, and the Feast of Trumpets rapture. This looks pretty amazing, and I think I'm very proud of being able to see this, and in a good sense, right? In a good sense. But anyway, taking into account the book of Haggai, we do see that there is one more possibility in 2019 if Haggai 2 is the key, the 24th day of the 9th month. And that would mean that the final week would not be in September, the final week may be in December. And what it turns out to be is that, according to Haggai 2, the day for the shaking of the nations is the 24th day of the 9th month. This lines up with the beginning of Hanukkah and the winter solstice. The winter solstice. Midweek is Christmas. That in and of itself is an abomination. It's the sacrifice of Christ Mass. People who are still on board with believing in a good Christmas story, I think there's going to be a great price to pay for our world, for worldliness, for people who are in the world and following the pagan customs. I'll leave all that for another day. I mean, people have been trying to warn for years about the dangers of Christmas. Well, we have, in the midst of Christmas, we've got the middle of Hanukkah. And remember, Barack Obama said he would win the war on Christmas. Remember, Christmas is the day of all antichrists. The winter solstice, Sol Invictus, the sun dying on the winter solstice, being reborn 3 days later. Everything is connected to a ritual that is dedicated to the Antichrist. This has been for centuries and centuries and centuries. From the beginning of time, the winter solstice has been, I think all religions of the world mark the winter solstice as a key moment. Of course, it's the end of the world date of the Mayans, the 21st of December. And that would mean that the final week then would be some major event happening on the winter solstice, the chaos event on the winter solstice. The midweek event will be them bringing in order out of chaos, bringing in their Antichrist, crowning their Messiah. And these events then would be the final warnings to the last day of Hanukkah, which would basically be the 30th or the 31st of December, meaning rapture before the end of 2019. And this would mean that Renee over at Rapture Puzzle has really been on it as far as understanding when the timing would be. And it's all valid. We need to watch. We need to understand. Is September the time, or will we be looking at Hanukkah? I do want to remind everybody that midweek Hanukkah on Christmas, there's an amazing sign in the heavens. It's an annular eclipse, solar eclipse in Sagittarius. and it's together with Jupiter. This is an amazing sign, especially after watching the Revelation 12 sign. And Jupiter, the importance of Jupiter. Midweek Hanukkah in 2017 was the day of the red dragon sign. The second sign of Revelation 12 was midweek Hanukkah, and this year midweek Hanukkah is December 25th. And there's this amazing sign with Jupiter in Sagittarius. I do also want to say that my sign in 2012 came midweek Hanukkah, so it lines up with the 7-year anniversary of my sign from 2012 to 2019. Midweek Hanukkah is the 7-year anniversary of my sign in the sun that the Lord gave me. So this is a lot of information here and a lot of things to consider. I don't want everybody to have so much hope on September, and if it doesn't happen, there's great disappointment. I think we should have understanding, if it doesn't happen in September, why? Why did it not happen in September? When would be the timing? When could be the next time? I know we have the Day of Atonement. I know we have the Feast of Tabernacles. But Hanukkah is a huge marker through history, and it's also a huge marker through in the heavens, signs in the heavens. It's also when Jesus mentioned the abomination of desolation in Matthew chapter 24, this is what he was referring to. He was referring to the abomination that took place. And it could be this all connected to winter. Sabbath in winter. If you look at the winter solstice day, it's winter and Sabbath. Pray that your flight be not in winter or on a Sabbath. What do all these things mean? We've been trying to understand for years. And we need to keep our hand to the plow. Our hand to the plow. Pray that your flight be not in winter nor on the Sabbath. Well, that's exactly when the winter solstice is, the beginning of Hanukkah. So we've got two options for Haggai chapter 2 that are left in 2019, okay? And we're really hoping that 2019 is the time. And I think that 2019 is the time based on the 2 years from the Revelation 12 sign. But there are two signs. There are two signs, okay? And both signs, look at how both signs this year have anniversary markers that connect perfectly with this final week scenario from the fall equinox and from the winter solstice. Both signs line up with this perfect scenario. So, will it be the 2-year anniversary of the first Revelation 12 sign, or will it be the 2-year anniversary of the second Revelation 12 sign? Okay? So, I know this is a lot of information, but we've got two options here for Haggai chapter 2. The 24th day of the 9th month on the Gregorian calendar, September 24th, or the 24th day of the 9th Hebrew month, Kislev 24, which is the week of Hanukkah, starting at the winter solstice, the midweek abomination event on Christmas, and rapture on the last day of Hanukkah on New Year's. So between September and December, These are two major options, and maybe the only two options left as to when rapture will occur. I didn't really necessarily want to say which I think. I really wanted to leave this open-ended, but after seeing what I'm seeing now about December, I'm pretty sure that it will be December. I'm sorry to say that. This sounded so wonderful to be out of here within the next 2 to 3 weeks. But the scenario seems even more convincing over Christmas. Everything about Christmas tied together with the coronation of the Antichrist. A day and hour you would not expect. And the Feast of Trumpets, here is the other connection to this. The Feast of Trumpets on the Hebrew calendar, or the Feast of Trumpets on the Gregorian calendar, because January 1st is the Gregorian New Year. And the Feast of Trumpets on the Hebrew calendar is Rosh Hashanah, their New Year. So it's one way or the other, it seems like this is all lining up to be connected to a New Year's event. The dropping of the ball, so to speak. Okay, well, I've shared from my heart today, trying to give you understanding that I'm seeing. These things come piece by piece, step by step, and we need to follow the Lord's direction. 9:23 is still connected to both of these. And that's what we need to understand. 9:23, what they have shown in all the movies, is still connected to both of these scenarios. One is September and one is Kislev. There's two options left for the prophecy of Haggai to be fulfilled in 2019. So I pray you're following everything that I'm sharing with you. And I pray you guys are all blessed today. And if we still have to be here after September, I pray everyone would have the strength to make it until the end. I do believe that 2019 is still definitely the year. Do we need to go to New Year's at the end of 2019? We may need to go to New Year's on 2019. So I hope this helps, giving everybody a wider perspective, more possibilities, more understanding, more things to pray about, and more things to study. We do know either way our redemption draws nigh, and we rejoice in the soon coming of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I pray you're all blessed today. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People, the sign of His coming revealed.